joining you today from what might be the worst place in North America. This is the Tom Bradley International Terminal at LAX. Now, when this terminal is named after Tom Bradley, he's probably like, oh, what an honor, not realizing that people will be miserable here 24/7, and you do not want a terminal named after you. This place sucks. We have a 6-hour flight delay. You might notice that I haven't had much Europe on my channel. I had the one video that Range Rover sent me to France for. I did get that KOM, but it wasn't one of the most contested Tour de France KOMs. There's a few reasons I haven't had Europe much on my channel. Number one, the KOMs in Europe are hard. If I could get KOMs on Alpe d'Huez, for example, I would be racing the Tour de France. Number two, it's expensive, and we work on a budget on Worst Honeymoon Ever. And number three, it's been done before, so you could watch I noticed when I retired what kind of a rich environment it was in the U.S. You could do, you could watch your 800th rider going up Mont Ventoux, or this is the first time you might watch someone going up Pikes Peak on my channel. So I felt like that was kind of my niche. But we are in Girona for our honeymoon.
I'm Phil Gaimon. I was a pro cyclist for 10 years, racing all over the world. Now I'm retired, but I'm not done suffering on my bike, climbing mountains as fast as I can, and going on crazy adventures. I couldn't be the best at racing, and I'm definitely the worst at retiring. Welcome to Worst Retirement Ever.
Just to summarize, we have a 2-week trip, 3 different locations. All of them are cycling hotspots. We're gonna bring our bikes and enjoy nice rides together, normal touristy things. But then for each place, she's giving me a hall pass for 1 day to go do my thing for a KOM. Welcome to Worst Honeymoon Ever. First stop, Girona. Why Girona? I lived here for 2 seasons when I was racing. It's a beautiful, medieval, romantic town where I still have a bunch of great memories that I wanted to share with my wife and some friends who still live here. As I'm getting older, they're getting older. This is sort of the last chance to show you the folks before they all scatter. I don't think I need to tell you that Girona is a hotbed for pro cycling, that tons of pros live there. The whole town is just the sound of cathedral bells and pro free hub bodies. The other reason we're in Girona is El Cellar de Can Roca. Is it cellar or cellar, right?
Yeah, no, I think it's cellar.
I thought it could be like Sayer, or anyway. This place was for many years and still up there, ranked the #1 restaurant in the world. I think it's like 2nd or 3rd now. You might be asking, how good can the food be? And here's the thing, let me explain this. I first came here in 2016. I was living here, my father had just passed, and my mom came to visit. And I knew the #1 restaurant in the world was in Girona. I had no idea what that meant. I just thought it'd be like a nice thing to take my mom there. So I sent them an email. I said, hey, there are no reservations available. It was like 4 days notice. Sent them an email, and I said, hey, if you have any cancellations in the next week, I'll take a reservation anytime for 2. And they emailed, they're like, hey, how about Tuesday? So I brought my mom, and I just thought it would be funny. Like, what's a 500 euro dinner like? It was one of the most incredible days of my life. My mom still talks about it. Do I ever shut up about it?
No.
I don't.
I'm pretty excited.
I don't. So I was dying to take Emily. This is the fanciest restaurant in the world, but I am fully clothed in Decathlon. Decathlon is native to France. It's a European brand. So I have my man purse, which it's not a purse, it's European. And here's the thing, it's really nice to be able to take some stuff. I don't know if I'm going back. I think I might be a purse guy. We'll see. But I have a cardigan. I have the Decathlon, the golf line. You've got like their nice polo shirt and their pants. And you would never know that nothing I'm wearing costs more than $50. There's 21 courses and there's a wine pairing, so she needed a little help to get home. For 2, it's $1,000. That's completely insane. Don't think of it as food. It's not like, oh, this food is really tasty, yummy. This is an artist at the peak of their industry, right?
It was art, guys.
Every course has a wine pairing. Every course, literally 1 bite, and you'll never have it again, and it's gone. Compare it to an incredible concert. Compare it to a vacation It's an experience you'll never have. It's a thing you'll talk about, and I really do think for what you get, it's actually a tremendous value. If you could ever do like a crazy fine dining like this, highly recommend. Now, if you're not a big planner, don't sweat it because there's lots of great food in town. But if you do want to go to Can Roca, it books out 11 months in advance, so book it now and plan your bike trip around that. Now, in addition to a great food scene, the coffee game in Girona is completely outrageous. It seems like everywhere you look, there's some artisanal coffee and Instagrammable breakfasts. It's at one of those where I met my friend Pau Sabater. He's in charge of Horizon Cycling Tours. And Girona is a place I would recommend getting a tour guide if you can do that. In my book, in Draft Animals, I talked about the idea of getting Spained, which is the train schedule is bizarre, the stores are closed randomly. You want someone else to handle your logistics. It's the riding is incredible, but it's easy to get lost. It's easy to end up on the highway instead of like a really nice bike path. Emily and I did the coast ride one day, for example, which is a ride that I've done a million times. A section from Tossa de Mar up to St. Grau. There's a beautiful climb, an incredible descent. One of the greatest stretches of road I've ever ridden in my life. I've done it many times, and I was getting lost. I had to use my Wahoo to navigate. And I'll put a link in the description if you want to check out Horizon Tours. So I met up with them. Emily went to a spa, and I did really the exact opposite of a spa. We headed to a climb called Rocacorba. Now, Americans might not have heard of this climb. There's never been a major race up it, as far as I know. But if you live in Girona, this is where the pros from Girona do their power tests, test their form before a big race. When I talked about the content in Europe that's been done a million times, this is one that really hasn't, but it's a legendary climb for World Tour folks. And I'm gonna say this is the hardest leaderboard I've attempted on my channel. It's all World Tour. If you're under 30 minutes, you're the real deal.
Vale.
So I get a one-day hall pass on my honeymoon, and this is how I choose to spend it. Pau had a e-bike, so he could keep up most of the way and get some better angles here and there. Now the e-bike does have a max speed, so I had advantages on some of the flatter portions where you can really fly on this climb. It's a very dynamic climb. Ultimately, the e-bike, could drop me if he wanted to. The climb has a few dips, which is not great for perfect flat power file like you want. It's not ideal for a power test, except your climbs. This 6.66 miles and 6.9%, so 69 and 6. That means something. I don't really know. It's an evil, hilarious climb. As you can see, there's a lot of riders out here, even on what's sort of a cold off-season day. But you have the little kicker bits at the beginning, and you can sort of use the flat parts to, I'm not going to say recover like I'm doing here, but mostly I'll edit out the parts that are under 400 watts, but there were a few spots where I'm going to drop the e-bike and you can lower down. If you went a little too hot on the steep bits, you can recover here to make sure you have gas for the important parts. There's sort of a flat part in the beginning, and then a more steady section and a steeper bit in the middle. I did go with I brought the rim brake Factor 02 VAM, mostly because it's just easier to fly with and travel with. Overcase, my bike bag sponsor, they're coming out with one for the Aerobike integrated headset thing later this year. But for now, this is the point of having a rim brake bike for me. I hadn't ridden it since Mount Washington. Velofix had to put double chain ring on there. You can see it's just beautiful. It's narrow. There's no yellow line. There's no business for cars to be on this climb. There's also a lot of shady sections where it can be slippery, it can be wet. There's parts that really never see the sun. And then there's just open areas where it can get hot, but the views are insane. If, you're not trying to KOM, you get to enjoy them. getting up to the last bit here. You see the graffiti, it's time to sprint. That I remember. Hadn't ridden this climb in many years. Didn't do recon today. I thought I knew it, but there we go. Just under 30 minutes.
Nice.
I threw up in my mouth a little bit. That might be the most expensive vomit ever. The view's good too. Yeah.
Good job.
Look at that. Yeah, let's see the view from over there's a better spot.
All right, we're looking at Banyoles down here. You
That
see
lake.
a little bit the lake.
Yep.
And then the Mediterranean right there.
This is the if you don't hit your PR, you can just ride right off. The descent is also one where you would want a guide a little bit. It's tight and twisted. You can't really have much fun on this downhill because you're just going to be slamming your brakes. Watch out for cyclists coming up, the occasional car that I have no idea what they're doing there. I remember I crashed at a race and I just lost my nerve for a couple weeks, and I got my buddy Nathan Haas to come out. I was like, do me a favor, just rip down Rocacorba. I trust your wheel. I'm going to follow your wheel. And it fixed me. It did fix me for the rest of that season. This is a place I did miss the disc brakes. I did 29:58. What do you think? Okay. They're not impressed. From the top, those two towers, that's where the top of Rocacorba is. Descend down here for the exact opposite. This is the peaceful Lake Banyoles.
This is where we on the Estanya Banyoles, the Lake of Banyoles, and here during the 92 Olympics in Barcelona is where they did the rowing. It's a beautiful spot. You can see the Pyrenees in the background. It's a spectacular place.
The move is you want to have coffee. He'll show you where to get the coffee, but right on the water, you can sit there. Don't feed the ducks.
The ducks are gonna come and get you.
Yeah, they got their own problems. But I'll put a link in the description to Horizon Cycling. He'll steer you right for your Girona trip. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
This has been
absolutely.
awesome.
Absolutely.
Other than 30 minutes. Cheers. So I felt pretty good. I was happy with that result for the first stop of Worst Honeymoon Ever. Emily, how was the spa?
It was great. I basically did nothing but stand up to go from the hot bath to the cold bath and then back to the hot bath.
Perfect. So, Worst Honeymoon Ever, off to a good success for part one in Girona. It's nice to be back here. Things have changed. It's definitely like a little bit different from when I lived here. But then some things haven't changed for hundreds of years. Next stop coming soon.